Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and I'm sorry if I sound a little odd or there's a cough or hack here and there, but I've been sick for a bit. I'm getting better. The bonus to this means I have pretty much the entire afternoon where I'm not really well enough to do anything else but sit down in front of my computer, so I am going to be recording all afternoon to put together just a ton of videos that have been sitting around. A new patch comes tomorrow. I've got to get them recorded before that patch comes. So the bonus means there's going to be a video every day for at least a little while. Now I'm driving the Tier 7 British premium battleship, the Nelson, and this ship's been in the game for a bit. It had some teething pains. I don't know that it's everyone's treat, but I've actually been enjoying her. Sure, the armor isn't as reliable as you might want out of a battleship, and there are, quite honestly, a lot of options at Tier 7 now. Flying Goomba sailing one of the others in the hood, and the Duke of York also coming in at Tier 7. There's a lot of different Tier 7 British battleships, and I wonder if Wargaming really thought that one through when they're like, let's give them 4 options at Tier 4. Sure, 2 are just clones of each other, but what makes the Nelson stand out is her turret layout. All 3 main batteries are up front, pushing all that superstructure to the back. And one of the other things I actually like is all 3 turrets are facing forward. This is different from a similar layout ship, the Izumo, where one is facing aft. And what this means is the Nelson is really good at turning her bow through the enemy and really sucks at turning away. If you turn away, the guns have to rotate that like 270 degrees around, whereas you can do a narrow weave at the enemy and pretty much keep all your main batteries firing. And this makes her a fairly effective ship at being aggressive in the right situations, because in the wrong ones her armor just gets worked over and she just seems to eat a lot of damage and disappears. Now, the third person in our division is Turles sailing the Nagato, and that probably is and will always be my favorite of the Tier 7 battleships. She's just reliable, her armor is good, and the accuracy and potency of her guns makes her something fierce to contend with. And I can see off the bat, the 3 of us, we're going with cheese here. We have a Bismarck. We are all going to be using HE because I lit a fire on my first volley, so we're trying to get more fires lit here to just start erasing that Bismarck. And I'm really hoping this upcoming patch gets rid of this little glitch where it seems in a lot of the replays I keep getting this alert that says press shift to use binocular view. I don't know why I'm getting tooltips all of a sudden, but it's a little bit frustrating. But it seems with each patch comes a new, series of little bugs that those of us who use replays a lot have to contend with. Now, looking at what's happening on this map, the enemy team, and our team for the most part, have kind of done the big push up into this northeast corner in the islands. It's become almost too popular. There used to always be 1 or 2 ships that would come down here, but without a cap over here, there's no incentive, and it just seems to be a giant free-for-all in maybe what accounts for 1/5 of the map. So the 3 of us and the Sakatsuki pushing down the other flank pretty much uncontested means we're going straight for their cap. If we're going to help our team, who are outnumbered there because of how many of us are on this flank, we have to make some of these ships turn around, start showing broadsides. Now the Bismarck is still in range, but this Atlanta is just too enticing a target. Sitting broadside on, just reversing like that, I'm going to take a shot at her, because if I can erase a ship over there, I help the team out. And we're already doing quite well. We've gotten 3 other ships killed over there, so as far as our team's doing, we're in a decent position. With their 3 ships dead, things are basically even. Now the situation I am in this Nelson is hands down one of the best you could ask for. I've got nothing really shooting at me. and only one enemy ship that really even seems to care about my existence, which lets me just shoot the guns and keep putting damage down. Get 1,000 damage there and a fire on the Atlanta. Not what I would have wanted from a side-on ship. Should I have used AP? Probably. But with this Bismarck, I'm still kind of just continuing to load HE because straight up as a team, or division, our plan is to just erase her by fire. The Bismarck has some tough armor. She's maneuvering. I don't feel I'm going to get reliable hits with the AP if she keeps angling away, whereas the HE puts that tick damage on her and then allows me to go back to looking at that Atlanta. Now you can see I have pretty much aimed for the closest point in that cap I can go for. Turles came close to running aground there, and that's kind of stopped her up. And Goomba, he's charging ahead. That Hood, a very quick ship. And you can see some of the enemy team starting to turn around. Now they've taken out a couple of our ships, and we've only managed to get one more of theirs, but it keeps us ahead. And that's what matters right now. You also notice I'm not sailing in a straight line. This Mahan may be outside of range, but I don't know where their gate is, and not knowing where a destroyer is means as a battleship you cannot afford to sail in a straight line. Now the obvious thing we need to do is get rid of this Mahan. If it's sitting in that cap, we can't take it, and we don't know what the enemy team is going to be able to do to our team. We've lost another ship up there. My fire takes the Bismarck down. That's one of our big opponents on this corner of the map, but you can see we're out of battleships up in the north, a couple cruisers, and they're pushing some heavy hitters through. So yeah, we've got some things to worry about. Now I'm waiting on this shot. I want the Mahan to steady up on a bearing, or at least start turning so that I know more of my shells are going to hit. Does just that. 5,100 damage. It's all I need. And, well, there's one of the destroyers down. The gate was momentarily spotted, so I know where I need to worry about torps from. Get my bow turned over, and RNG blessed me with a nice gap, just wide enough for my hull to slip through. And we managed to finish off their Scharnhorst up in the north. The Mogami sitting behind that island, basically forcing the Tirpitz to ground itself, because if it comes around that edge, it's going to eat torpedoes. And the three of us just continue our push forward. Now, charging at a destroyer in a smokescreen, not the brightest of decisions, but it's what we've got. Goomba and I have pretty much talked here. We're doing this. He's going to get the spotting. He's using that speed to charge in there. I'm going to be ready with my guns. You can see me using the map. I'm basically just keeping my guns pointed in the direction of that last known ship position, using that line down the center of my arc to steer me. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to appear so that I can fire, because we're not going to have all that long. You can see me looking at the Sharn, looking at the Belfast, and, well, the Belfast side on, Goomba fires, so I fire. And we do a decent chunk of damage, just over a third, and there is the gate. The secondary is opening up, the ship sailing away, and I mean, that's good for us. It's running. But turning side on like that makes me think there's torpedoes, but then Goomba spots them in the water and proceeds to eat them in the water. One of my videos isn't complete without him exploding, so that means this video is just about done. Now, the Belfast is going to be one of my primary targets here, mostly because just got that rate of fire, and unlike most British ships, that ability to do HE. And one of the things I love about the Nelson and the whole British line is that hefty repair party. I was hurting quite a bit there, and just like that, I'm back in it. Now, one of the big plus sides to Turles falling a little further behind here is that while the Scharnhorst is a little angled to myself, showing a lot more broadside to Turles, who's just a few kilometers behind me. And the Nagato's got some hefty guns. She put a good chunk of damage in there. And, well, between myself, this Akatsuki, and Turles, we shouldn't have any problem finishing this Sharn off. And there is a great hit. Quite happy with that one. Only 3 shells with 5,600 damage. And this is kind of the ideal situation for us. We dragged a couple of their ships back, but they're not showing up at the same time. Meanwhile, the Tirpitz up there is forced to deal with our Mogami and Leningrad, and hasn't been able to get into our cap, so we're gaining an advantage here. Now, this all relies on us surviving down at the cap. With 10 seconds to my next repair party, look how much health I am going to get back. That's pretty much a third of my ship that I'm going to be able to repair with that normal repair party, and I'm running the Dreadnought flag for that extra 20% to my repair. And to go from about the 18,000 I was at to what I'm guessing is going to be well over probably close to 40 grand by the time this is done. That's 20,000 hit points. And you can see me asking that Akatsuki to just stay in the cap. He's the invisible one. He's the one who is going to really take this cap if it comes down to that. Meanwhile, just turning bow in and just going to try to shoot at what I can see. The Kutuzov sitting pretty much side on. Decent hit there, and yeah, AP would have done better, but I've kind of picked a strategy here and I'm sticking to it, and it's worked pretty well so far. 3 kills, 83,000 damage, and there's still a little more on the board to be done. And what's made this battle successful was the fact that no more than 2 ships have really been firing me at any one point. And that's really where I've found the Nelson gets in over her head, is if there's a bunch of ships shooting at you, you're just shit out of luck. There is not a lot you're going to do to stop that damage, and you're just going to lose your hit points so quickly, and you're not going to be able to utilize that amazing repair party. So with our Graf Spee finishing the Kutuzov off, means there's just this Belfast left on the enemy team, and we'll have the win. So not so worried about the cap anymore. I'm going for blood. I'm also hoping I can end this game just over 100,000 damage. And well, doesn't look like it. The rest of my team shooting at the Belfast, and well, not enough health left to crack that 100k marker. Doesn't mean I can't secure one more kill. And with the game over, I was quite happy with this result. 733,000 credits, 6,600 experience. I got Arsonist, I think that's Dreadnought, and clearly my mind's not clearly back. 99,000 damage, 4 kills, top of team, 1,757 experience. It's not groundbreaking, but it's good enough to top the team here, and we got the win. And important for me too, Turles was third on our team as she is slowly grinding up her first line in this game. As far as my damage, you can see pretty much 1/3 of my damage came from the fires that were lit, and that it shows the potency of lighting fires. Yeah, some consider it a cheap tactic, but it's part of the game, and you need to use that to your advantage. And believe me, I hate it. I've had a couple Yamato games of late where just the entire enemy team can see me, they all light me on fire, and I burn down. And I worry that's going to be a weakness in the Musashi too, is it's the sister ship, it's just as big, it's going to be highly detectable. But we'll see when she comes out, as far as the patch notes say, tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.